We are back to the friendly confines of Michaels, 8th Avenue in Glen Burnie, Maryland. It is time for Ballroom Boxing. Hi again, everybody. I'm Larry Michael. Great to be back with Jon Saraceno. Tonight's card has something for everyone, including a couple of unbeaten fighters. It should be a great night.
And you know what happens when we get unbeaten fighters on this show. We know what happened to Jermaine Fields that one night. He lost that unbeaten record. We've also got a nice international flavor tonight. We've got fighters from Ireland, Venezuela, so we've really spiced it up, Larry.
Crowd is ready. We hope you are ready. When we return, the first fight is in the ring. It's time for Ballroom Boxing. Ballroom Boxing is brought to you by Toyota, by Geico Direct, by Budweiser, the king of beers, and by 0to80.com outlet for e-business. Welcome back to Ballroom Boxing. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno. Willis Lockett's pro debut is next. The Butterflies, Jon Saraceno. This kid has never fought professionally. The Butterflies must be the size of elephants in his stomach right now.
Well, I don't want to be around if he coughs them up.
And we'll see what's going to happen. It's always interesting in the ballroom. Let's set it up to Pat O'Malley.
The Maryland State Athletic Commission, Chairman Carl Milligan Jr., Executive Director Patrick Bonella, and Maryland Department of Labor Licensing and Regulation, Richard Feller, and Ballroom Boxing promoter Scott Wagner, matchmaker Josh Hall, present this 4-round bout in the light heavyweight division. Your referee in charge is John Gradowski. Introducing the boxers. First, to my right, out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks trimmed in white, from Tacoma Park, Maryland, weighing 180¼ pounds, making his professional debut here at Michaels. Please welcome Willis Lockett. To my left, out of the red corner, wearing the trunks green, white, and gold, weighing 170¼ pounds. He comes to us by way of Dublin, Ireland, with a record of 2-1-1. Please welcome Jonathan O'Brien.
O'Brien and Lockett. Pro debut for Willis Lockett III. Let's take a look at the matchup with Jon Saraceno.
Willis Lockett carrying a lot of weight, 180¼ pounds in that 5'9" frame. You see O'Brien much taller and leaner.
And the pro debut cannot be discounted. Willis Lockett, a little nervous, I am sure. O'Brien hails from Dublin, Ireland, resides in New York City right now. He's a pretty good puncher. This is his first match in the United States, the 2-1-1 record entirely in England. Willis Lockett against Jonathan O'Brien. We are underway. Lockett in the blue trunks, right hand by Lockett, comes up short. John, you look at the pro debut for any fighter, it's got to be a moment where the nerves are probably the most important thing to deal with.
I think as somebody once said, the butterflies could be as large as elephants.
Could be as large as elephants, and if elephants had wings, they'd be Dumbo. Anyway.
And flying out of Willis Lockett's stomach, but right now Willis Lockett off to a slow start against Jonathan O'Brien. I like that J-O-N on the belt line of O'Brien.
I like the way he spells that. Wild right hand by Willis Lockett. As O'Brien gets well-schooled, good stance as you see him moving forward.
You see how much more composed O'Brien is. That's to be expected.
Fight is scheduled for 4 rounds. Willis Lockett, 24 years old. Jonathan O'Brien, 22 years old. And as the tail of the tape showed you, these fighters are pretty even in terms of the reach and height. Poundage, though, in favor of young Mr. Willis Lockett. Nice right hand counter. Lockett moving in slow motion, and poor footwork by O'Brien.
Yeah, he was off balance, was O'Brien there. And
whoa, an overhand right. Did you feel the breeze on that one?
Amateurish rights.
Lockett moving, trying to stay away with the right hand from O'Brien. Double jab, barely touches. You see Lockett beginning to breathe heavily, Johnny. You know, the nerves take some strength away from you.
Take a lot of energy out of you. And you can see he's dealing with that right now. He's winging shots from the outside.
Big overhand right by Lockett, and O'Brien says, come on. It's got to discourage Lockett a little bit. And that was a big, strong punch, and it scored. Another right hand by Lockett, a short one that time. O'Brien didn't laugh and didn't say, come on. I think that hurt him a little bit.
Well, Lockett's really loading up with the right hand, Larry, trying to land that one punch, but he'd be better off jabbing and moving a little bit less.
O'Brien moving, trying to set up those wild overhand shots.
And you see how wide Lockett is with those punches. That leaves O'Brien the counter-punching possibility if he can capitalize on it.
Lockett's got to keep his hands up, though. O'Brien really not punching. Lockett continues to move as round one wears on. Here in the ballroom, pro debut for Willis Lockett III. Winging wild open shots and now bullying O'Brien against the ropes. Got to feel a little bit for Willis Lockett. You know, the nerves, doesn't know what to expect, and he's out there now. He's got no place to go. Good body work by Willis Lockett, working the inside of Jonathan O'Brien. Round one coming to a close here in the ballroom. We'll be back. We're back in the ballroom. Pretty good first round for the pro debut of Willis Lockett.
Well, Lockett threw a lot of those wild overhand rights, but he connected 3 or 4 times. I gave him the round.
This fight is scheduled for 4 rounds. Want to welcome in the third member of our crew, as always, Jon Scheinman. John, 1 round in the book. Who'd you give it to?
Willis Lockett, I thought, won the first round, and he did show a lot of signs of being nervous in his pro debut. You could see him toward the end of the last minute of the first round taking some deep breaths. But I'll tell you something, as long as that right hand lands, he's going to get home with the scorecards.
Good body work by Willis Lockett. O'Brien needs to punch a little bit, Jon Saraceno. He just keeps on moving forward, not punching.
Exactly. He's walking him down, but he's not making him pay. And there he had Lockett on the ropes trying to do some work there. And also, where's the jab from Jonathan O'Brien?
Big, heavy left hand, and O'Brien's head bounces off the canvas. I'm not so sure he's getting up. John Gradowski, the referee, is gonna count him out. It's over. A second round knockout in the pro debut of Willis Lockett III. Anything can happen in the ballroom.
What a spectacular knockout by Lockett, who had been nailing O'Brien with the big right hands, landing the left.
I mean, quickly this fight ends. And Jonathan O'Brien is knocked out, counted out in round 2. The pro debut of Willis Lockett, certainly a memorable one for the folks in Washington, D.C.
And O'Brien really got up, Larry, on pure instinct, because when he rose, he didn't know where he was. The fight had to be stopped, and it was a good stoppage.
Taking a look at how this fight ended quickly in round 2. It's the big overhand left.
Well, you know what? Lockett was telegraphing his punches through the first round and the beginning of the second round, but for some reason, Jonathan O'Brien never picked up on the telegraph, and he got nailed.
Let's get the time from Pat.
The winner, 50 seconds by KO into round 2 in his professional debut, Willis Lockett.
Okay. Taking a look at how this fight ended quickly in round 2. Pro debut, watch the left hand.
No, that could always be a dangerous moment. Fortunately, O'Brien left the ring under his own power. O'Brien was starting to jab when he got hit, but he was much too slow with the jab tonight and paid for it dearly.
It certainly was an impressive victory for Willis Lockett. He gets win number 1 in fight number 1 as a pro. More ballroom boxing coming up after this. Welcome back to Ballroom Boxing. We're going to take a look now at a special interview. Our friend Jon Scheinman had the opportunity to speak with renowned promoter Don King at a press conference for the upcoming Middleweight World Championship Series bout. May 12th, it's going to be William Joppy and Felix Trinidad. That's going to be a big one. Don King loves ballroom boxing. Let's go to the interview. Jon Scheinman with Don King.
When Joppy and Trinidad get in the ring, how do you not root for one of them?
Well, you know what I do? Let the best man win. I root for both of them because I love them both. Trinidad has the chance for immortality. Joppy has a chance for greatness. You know what I mean? So it's the thing here that each one of these guys, given opportunity in the land of opportunity, they get out to be able to exploit their talent, skills, and their wares for public review and for their own self-satisfaction. So this is what you call pitting the best against the best. The man who wants it the most is the one who's going to walk out of that ring with it. So this is what I like, and I'm just hopeful that none of the organizations don't come in and try to cause any kind of hiccup, you know what I mean, in this series. Let these guys go, and then each one of them have signed to do the mandate of all the fighters that they declare after the series is over. So we're looking for the best of boxing. We got meritocracy on the line, the best fighting the best. This is what the public wanted. You get true entertainment value for your entertainment dollar, and we're going to give you the best when you see this series, the World Middleweight Unification Series, featuring two local kids here, Keith Holmes and William Joppy, taking on Bernard Hopkins and Felix Tito Trinidad. Viva Puerto Rico.
And one more question for you. Ballroom boxing is about club shows. A lot of the people that fight in these cards and watch these shows are all about club fighting. You're on the top of the sport. This is the top of the sport that we're talking about right here. But what do you say to the kids that are coming up through the club bouts?
Well, ballroom boxing is something that I'm always watching, because from the beginning, you know what I mean, you start at the bottom, you go to the top. You go from the top back to the bottom. But the one thing is, you can only start at the bottom. You can't start at the top. So therefore, you go from ballroom boxing on up and graduate, and then because you've done good, you remember the ballroom that you started in, go back and get them a play so they can then capture what your excitement and celebrity is, along with developing others that will be in the ballroom boxing. I like it. I'm watching it.
Welcome back to Ballroom Boxing. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno. Derrick Whitley and Etianne Whitaker getting ready to square off. And Derrick Whitley is the consummate professional, almost ideal for the ballroom.
Well, he's been a mainstay in this series, but tonight he's fighting a young guy who's been one of the most active fighters in the United States, so Whitley's got to be ready.
Yeah, Etianne fought 13 times last year. Let's go to Pat O'Malley for the official introductions.
The Maryland State Athletic Commission Chairman Carl Milligan Jr., Executive Director Patrick Manella, and Ballroom Boxing promoter Scott Wagner and matchmaker Josh Hall present this 6th-round bout in the light heavyweight division. The referee in charge is Malik Waleed. The judges are Kenny Chevalier, John Gradowski, and Don Risher. Introducing the boxers. First to my left, out of the red corner, weighing 169 3/4 pounds, wearing the black trunks trimmed with gold, from Holyoke, Massachusetts, with a record of 13-15, 6 KOs. Please welcome Derrick Double Impact Whitley. To my right, out of the blue corner, weighing 175 pounds. He is from Warren, Ohio, fighting out of Youngstown, Ohio. He has a record of 17-4-1, 9 via the KO. Please welcome E.T. Whitaker.
They call him E.T. Takes on the veteran Whitley. Jon Saraceno takes a look at the matchup.
And you see the significant height advantage by Whitaker. 6'2". Derrick Whitley only 5'8". And of course the reach advantage for Whitaker. Whitley's got to find a way to get inside, Larry.
Scheduled 6 rounds.
Whitaker has had a strong amateur background. Great story behind Etianne Whitaker. Fighting amateur at 19, didn't fight until a tough man contest 2 years ago. Had a hard time collecting his money, so he turned pro, said, if I'm going to do it and not get paid, I might as well get paid to do this. Round 1 underway. See the serious height and reach advantage for Etianne Whitaker. Out of Youngstown, Ohio, the referee for this matchup is Malik Waleed.
Of course, that Youngstown, Warren, Ohio area has produced a lot of fighters. Ernie Shavers, Boom Boom Mancini, Harry Arroyo, just to name a few. Whitaker's trying to carve a name for himself. He is long and lean.
Really is.
And he looks mean.
Working the jab. Etianne, good sharp right hand. Derrick Whitley coming off a loss. to Dana Rucker here in the ballroom a couple months ago. Etianne Whitaker pushed across the ring.
Well, you've seen Whitley being very careful, negotiating from the outside in. He really hasn't been able to get on the inside of Whitaker's long left hand.
22 fights in just under 19 months for Etianne Whitaker.
That's an incredible pace, and it's a good pace for a young fighter who's getting started. Too many times fighters do not get enough fights under their belt early on. They stagnate and they don't progress.
Of course, we know Derrick Whitley and his work ethic and the fact that he is in shape.
Oh, is he ever? Always.
Always in shape. Not a guy who needs to get in shape. He's the kind of guy that could take a fight on a moment's notice.
Let his arm go. Okay, break. Stop punching. Stop punching.
Wrestling going on in the ring. You talk about styles making fights, John. You have the southpaw, Whitley, going against the long, rangy, conventional fighter. It's a little bit of a puzzle for both these guys right now.
Might even be a bigger puzzle for Whitaker, being the fighter with a little bit less experience. Well, Whitley's really having a difficult time, Larry, getting in on the inside.
Keep him up. Keep him up.
Whitaker very focused in this fight here in the ballroom. Round one winding down. Whitaker and Whitley.
Stop punching. Let him go. Let him go.
Scheduled for 6 rounds.
Come on now. Let's keep it clean. Let's go. Come on now.
Light heavyweight division here in the ballroom. More to come from Michael's 8th Avenue as Whitaker and Whitley feeling each other out here in this first round. Whitaker just warming up as round one comes to a close. We'll be back. Welcome back to Ballroom Boxing. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno. Check us out on the web if you want, www.ballroomboxing.com. And if you were to do that, you'd find out that May 10th, Ballroom Boxing returns here to Glen Burnie, Maryland. So if you're interested anywhere in the country for tickets, dial 1-888-950-2188 for ticket information. 888-950-2188 for Ballroom Boxing tickets. Ballroom Boxing on the road as well, May 17th. Travel to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania as we take the road show up north. Here in this fight, Etianne Whitaker lining up Derrick Whitley. And John, you talk about the first round, Whitaker having a hard time maybe not knowing the answer to the puzzle. Right now, it seems to me he's beginning to figure it out.
Well, he started opening up there. And really, I gave him that round based on his handiwork with the jab, Larry. I thought he really got the better of Whitley. But Whitley's going to take his time. Whitley is a distance guy. He's not going to go looking for a knockout in the first round, particularly with a guy this long and lean and who's got some punching power.
Let's go.
Whitley's sharp left hand right on the chin of Etianne Whitaker.
Let him go. Let him go. Let him go.
Whitaker's trainers, Frank West, who formerly trained IBF Cruiserweight champion Jeff Lampkin. So he's got some good experience, help in the corner. This is not some young guy, Whitaker, just coming in here. You could tell by the way he fights
Let him go. Come on. Let's go.
that even though he doesn't have that many fights or hasn't been fighting that long, he's a more seasoned fighter than would appear.
The most recent loss was in Copenhagen, Denmark. For Etianne Whitaker, lost an 8-round split decision to Rudy Markuson. Very controversial. Markuson unbeaten, injured his neck and shoulder in the fight. Also on the resume of Whitaker, a draw with Demetrius Jenkins, a technical draw. Jenkins, a young gun from Philadelphia. Waleed warning Derrick Whitley for holding.
Well, Whitaker does have an interesting corner also. Pat Nelson, his agent who brought him up here, graduated from Brown University. You don't find many guys in the corner from Brown.
Certainly don't. Whitley trying to zero in on the body of Whitaker, and he scores.
Let him go. Let him go. Break. Get out of there. Get out of there. No pushing.
Look at Whitaker. He's got the 4 losses, John, but you wonder how. Just a young guy who's only been fighting since June of '99. got a lot of wins and has 4 losses on the record.
Well, he's got to stick with that jab. He's gone away from it a little bit this round, gotten a little sloppy, and Whitley's made him pay.
We'll be back with more from the Ballroom in a moment. Welcome back to Ballroom Boxing, brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno in the ring right now. Etianne Whitaker in the black trunks with no trim, and in the black trunks with the gold trim, it is Derrick Whitley, the veteran. 2 rounds in the books here at Michael's 8th Avenue on this fight. It's scheduled for 6. Let's check in with Jon Scheinman on the scorecard. Jon.
I got it all even, 19-19 unofficially on the 10-point must system. I thought Whitaker won the first round, and Whitley really put it together in the second round. He realized, hey, this guy's bigger, he's taller. I can't let him come forward because that's what a little guy can't do. You got to go on the attack. You got to come forward with your jab, and I like the way Whitley's taking the fight to him. Plus, he's showing good urgency, and he's a distance fighter like Jon Saraceno said, but in a 6th rounder, he can't wait around.
Action picking up here in the 3rd round.
You know what? This is going to be a pivotal round here, Larry.
Whitley's turning it up a little bit.
They both are.
Whitaker's responding with some power shots.
Exactly. Whitaker realizes he's got to stand his ground right here. He's on the road. He's coming into Whitley's backyard. And Whitaker definitely lost that 2nd round. He let Whitley back into the fight. He realizes he's got to have a big 3rd round.
Work with the free hand. Get out of there. Get out of there. All right.
Hear the voice of Malik Waleed, the 3rd man in the ring. Nice combination.
Whitley acknowledged it too. That was nice of him.
Whitaker beginning to turn up the heat, as is Whitley. We know Whitley's in the great condition to go all the way.
As long as Whitaker keeps sticking out that long left hand, Whitley's in all kinds of trouble. He stopped jabbing in that 2nd round and allowed Whitley to get on the inside and score. I got to believe his corner jumped on him and told him to go back to the jab.
It's like Whitaker beginning to get a little arm weary here in round 3, and Whitley doubling up the left hand.
And he's also, Whitaker is punching to the body, and that's slowing Whitley up just ever so slightly. You see all the heart that Derrick Whitley has, keeps moving forward.
Great head movement by Whitley.
He does slip a lot of shots, Derrick Whitley.
Again, every time we see Derrick Whitley, we wonder about his record. How in the world could he have a record of 13-15? He's been fighting all his life to get to 500.
Well, that's mismanagement to a large degree, but he really came on in 2000. He lost his first fight against Gabriel Hernandez and then won his next 6 before losing to Dana Rucker last time out.
Oh, big overhand right just off the mark from Whitaker.
Oh, Whitley is in tough tonight.
Whitaker off the ropes. Nice little jab by Whitley.
See how quick Whitaker's hands are.
Got a very strong jab. He uses the height and the leverage to his advantage. Big right hand followed by a left by Etianne Whitaker.
Whitaker's fighting as if he thinks he can almost stop Whitley in this round. He's throwing power shots, biting down, and really stepping inside.
Blood from the nose of Whitaker. Good 3rd round. The 4th is next. Don't go away. Welcome back to Ballroom Boxing. There you see a little blood from the nose of Etianne Whitaker. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno. This fight pretty close. We're in round 4. Whitaker in the dark trunks with no trim. It is Whitley in the dark trunks with the gold trim.
We talked about how active Etianne Whitaker has been. 22 fights since turning pro in the summer of 1999. Larry, he fought 3 fights in 10 days one time, and another time he fought 2 fights in 3 days.
Wow. Whitley taking advantage of the slip by Whitaker. We'll slip in Jon Scheinman with a quick 3-round scorecard. Jon.
Whitaker up by 1, 29-28 on my card. It's his size and his power differential so far is giving him the edge.
Thank you, Whitley. Beginning to move forward a little bit. The jab you talked about last round from Whitaker, Jon Saraceno, has not been present here in the 4th.
Well, he's alternated that in various rounds. He used it in the 1st, didn't use it in the 2nd, used it in the 3rd, and then followed up with his right hand. He's gone away from it here in the 4th. That was a very busy 3rd round for Whitaker. Expended a lot of energy. Let's see if he can sustain it here in the 4th round.
Stop punching. Come on, let's go. Let's go.
Tell you what, Whitaker's got a bad habit of dropping the left hand after he jabs. And if Derrick Whitley can time the right hand, Whitaker's going to get caught. Now, Whitley's not a big puncher, but again, it's volume. He wears you down with a number of shots he throws. And sometimes it's the punch you don't see, it's going to hurt you.
There's the right hand by Whitley, follows it with the left. Couple good power shots. Whitaker stands in.
Whitaker's got to get that left hand up. He's fighting too much like Tommy Hearns.
Both hands now from Whitaker dropping down. He catches Whitley coming in with a very sharp left hand. And that stopped Whitley right in his tracks.
Watch your heads, watch your heads.
Malik Waleed warning about the heads clashing inside. You never know what to expect here in the ballroom. A lot of blood now from the nose of Whitaker. But again, he's dominating the round using the boxing skills. Overhand right by Whitley scores.
Whitley's really connecting in this round.
Whitley beginning to turn on the heat. Whitaker staying right there, but his legs beginning to deceive him.
Well, he's backing it straight up instead of punching his way back or holding Whitley.
Derrick Whitley mounting a comeback as round 4 comes to an end here in the ballroom. Action from round 4 as Derrick Whitley turned it up at the end of that 3-minute round.
Well, Whitley was also using his jab and then nailing Whitaker with right hands.
So round 5 is underway, and this fight is scheduled for 6 tonight here in the ballroom. Through 4, we see it as very tight. How does Jon Scheinman see it?
Well, Whitley obviously got back in the fight there. It's 38-38 unofficially on my scorecard. I think the person who applies the most pressure in this fight is going to win. Neither guy seems to do very well when they're going backwards. Whitley definitely proved that in the last round by coming forwards. He really took it to Whitaker.
All right, John, thank you very much. Whitley continues to move forward, and you know, Jon Saraceno, the jab of Whitaker is a forgotten tool right now.
Well, he's trying to box and move around, a lot of leg movement, but he was doing much better when he sat down and just threw. I don't know if Derrick Whitley shook him up enough where he doesn't want to stand on the inside anymore with Whitley, but he is a tall, lean boxer. He's using his skills from the outside, but he has gotten away from that jab at times. I've got the fight even also after 4. It's really anybody's fight, quite obviously.
Whitaker up against the ropes. Whitley trying to do some damage there. Whitaker just pushes him away.
Derrick Whitley only knows one gear, and that is forward. Constant pressure leaves you no room to breathe at all.
Stop punching, stop punching.
Whitaker shaking his head no. Looking at the camera there.
You sense a little frustration on Whitaker's part?
A little bit. I think he's getting tired, John. I think he's getting tired. You know, Whitley, like we said earlier, this guy is a beast as a trainer. He trains. His father's his trainer. His brother is his partner. Good combination there by Whitaker. Not much power behind it.
And Whitley's face is not even marked.
Whitaker running away, moving away, I should say.
Yeah,
and you wonder how the judges view that.
Yeah, well, he's not going to win the fight doing what he's doing right now. He's going to win the fight the way he fought the 3rd round. You can't run and win a fight. It's not effective. It's certainly not effective aggressiveness.
Ask Oscar De La Hoya against Trinidad.
You might be able to do it if you're Sugar Ray Leonard and you bring a resume into the ring, but that's about it.
Little jab by Whitaker there, doing no damage. Pot shots are right.
And that's not meant as a slam against Ray, because Ray did a lot of effective punching too in his day.
This round here still up for grabs. Neither man imposing his will on the other.
Come on, let's go.
But the tide has really turned in Whitley's favor.
To do some work, there he goes. As Whitaker up against the ropes, and you see the wobble in the legs of Whitaker.
And when Whitley decided to go conventional full time in this fight, it's really made a difference.
Good work again by Whitley.
He's backing the bigger guy up against the ropes, Larry.
Is it enough for Whitley to take that round? Who is leading with 3 minutes to go here in the ballroom? Final round is next. Welcome back to Ballroom Boxing, brought to you by Geico Direct Auto Insurance. 3 minutes to go in this 6-rounder. A very, very close fight. Jon Scheinman, who was ahead on your card?
Ooh, Whitley has just squeaked ahead with that good last round. I got him up 48-47, but it's anyone's bout going into the 6th.
All right, who knows how the earlier rounds, of course, Scheinman's card, extremely unofficial, as is Jon Saraceno's. How do you see it, Jon?
Which is identical to Johnny's.
So we have 2 unofficial scorecards in Whitley's favor. And of course, I see it as a draw. How's that?
No, you don't.
I predict that
because they got
now.
5 rounds. I know you didn't score any even.
I predict it now. Whitley sweeping with the left hand. He misses. You see Whitaker has very little left, has his hands held low.
He's almost fighting as if he's way ahead.
Trying to sit back there and pot shot Whitley, and Whitley's just too busy for that.
That's exactly what he's trying to do. And at this point, he might be trying to fight a game of survival more than anything.
Well, we're not going to vote either one of these guys off.
Well, as tired as Whitaker may be, he still is throwing punches, and from awkward angles, it's kind of become a difficult fight here in the latter rounds for Whitley.
For a guy as busy as Whitaker is in terms of his career and how often he fights, are you surprised he doesn't have more left here in the 6th?
Yeah, I am. I think he went 8 rounds one time, Larry, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
He's had a bunch of 6-rounders, but you know, we've said it before, Whitley just applies so much consistent pressure throughout the fight. He's in such good shape.
Just keeps on coming. Look at Whitaker.
And that 3rd round for Whitaker, that may have taken a lot out of him. That was a big round. It looked like he was trying to stop him, and he couldn't.
Is Whitaker going to steal this thing? A big right hand on the left by Whitley.
I mean, how foolish is Whitaker to allow himself to be hit with those shots, hands down in his side? Very debatable strategy.
He's tired, though. You can just tell he doesn't have the strength to pick his arms up. He's got to dig from somewhere. Whitley has it still. Good body shot by Whitley. Whitaker has nothing left.
It really appears that Whitaker right now is just trying to gut this thing out in the 6th round and pray that he gets a decision somehow. I don't think that's going to happen.
Good body shot by Derrick Whitley. Has Whitaker in some trouble. Now, does Whitley have enough to put him down?
Well, I'd like to see Whitley go to the body when he gets him near the ropes, then go upstairs.
Knockdown here would be huge for either man, as tight as this fight is. Another left hand by Whitley.
Well, Whitley knows Whitaker's in a lot of trouble here, Larry. He's trying to finish him.
Whitaker just getting hammered here in the 6th and final round.
Get out, punch out. Break. Let's go.
Closing seconds of the round. Did Derrick Whitley do enough to win it? Big right hand by Whitaker. The mouthpiece of Whitley goes flying. The 1 punch in the round by Whitaker scores heavily on the skull of Whitley. And who won this fight? Was it Derrick Whitley? There you see him. Or Etianne Whitaker? We'll find out when we return to the ballroom. Well, that was a great fight. Welcome back to the ballroom. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno. Etianne Whitaker and Derrick Whitley go the distance. Let's take a look at the final seconds of this 6-rounder. This last flurry could have decided the fight, Jon.
Well, it was a big round up to this point for Derrick Whitley. Whitaker hit him with a right hand that sends Whitley's mouthpiece flying across the ring. I don't know if we're going to see it in that shot, but I don't think it was enough to win the round.
Let's find out who the winner is in this fight. Let's go to Pat O'Malley.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. We go to the scorecards. Judge Chevalier scores it 58-56 Whitley. Judge Gradowski scores it 57-57. And Judge Risher scores it 57-57. We have a majority draw.
Larry, you called it. You totally called it, but you know what? I don't buy it. I thought Whitley was the more effective puncher throughout the fight. Certainly Whitaker landed a lot of heavy shots, but I don't see a draw there.
Let's go back to Jon Scheinman, standing by with those 2 that drew. Jon?
Well, we're going to start here with Etianne Whitaker. You started fast, and you seemed like you got a little tired at the end. You've been really active in your career. Do you think maybe you've been fighting too much or what?
No, not really. It's good to stay active. I believe toward the later rounds, I don't believe I failed. I believe I did enough to pull the fight out, you know what I mean? But I boxed nice, and then he came on pretty strong a little bit. You know, he tried to bring a little intensity to the game, but I believe I did enough to edge him.
It seemed like you were more effective going forward in the early rounds behind the jab. How was he able to take the fight away from you in the later rounds?
Maybe I let him step up a little too much, you know what I mean? But I don't call it taking it from him. But, you know, he stepped up and he fought pretty good in the end. You know what I mean? I think I did enough to edge him throughout the fight.
Fair decision?
Nah.
Rematch in order?
Have to be.
We might see this one again. Let's get Derrick Whitley in here. Derrick, last time we had you in the ballroom, you lost a very tough decision. You were unhappy. You come back and you come away with a draw this time. Me and Jon Saraceno both thought you got the decision, or you deserved it anyway. How do you feel about how this outcome came out?
I'm not upset about the outcome because when it came down, I was supposed to fight Eric Graham, and then 3 days later we get a call that he wasn't fighting me, so they put a substitute in for me. I didn't know too much about him. They said he's going to come in at 170, but he came in at 175. I weighed in at my weight, 168 and a quarter. So I figured he had the weight on me, and he was moving. But if he was down at my weight, I would have had him out of there because I thought I hit him a couple times.
So were you a little surprised at the size of this guy when you came into the ring?
Yeah, I didn't really know his height, how tall he was. I knew he was going to use the jab, but I said I'm going to stick to my game because I work hard for it, and I wasn't going to let no one stop me from coming to do my work.
Is this the kind of fight that you go to Scott Wagner and say, hey, give me a rematch, or you just want to push on?
I'll take a rematch. I have no problem with it. As long as the weight is mutual and everything comes out right, I'll fight him again. The next time I'll take him out.
Both guys wouldn't mind doing this one again. Derrick Whitley, okay with the decision, but he'd like another crack at Etianne Whitaker.
We're back in the ballroom. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno. Ironic fight in the ring. We have unbeaten Martin O'Malley in the ring going up against the upset kid, Luis Lizarraga. And at ringside is the mayor of Baltimore, Martin O'Malley. So we have two Martin O'Malleys here in attendance. You know what? We have another O'Malley. It's Pat O'Malley. He's our ring announcer. He's going to get us started.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. The Maryland State Athletic Commission, Chairman Carl N. Milligan Jr., Executive Director Patrick Pinella, and Ballroom Boxing of Glen Burnie, Maryland, promoters Scott Wagner and matchmaker Josh Hall present this 8-round bout in the lightweight division. The referee in charge, the very popular Kenny Chevalier. The judges, Gary Campaneschi, Don Risher, and Malik Waleed. Introducing the boxers. First, to my right, out of the blue corner, weighing 136 pounds. He now resides in Orange, California, by way of Mexico, with a record of 30, 23, and 3, 22 KOs. Please welcome Luis, the Golden Boy, Lizarraga. To my left, out of the red corner, wearing the white trunks, weighing 135 pounds. He is from Highland Mills, New York, with a perfect record of 16-0, 14 via the KO. The mayor of Baltimore City, Martin O'Malley, is looking on. Here is the boxer, Martin O'Malley.
Certainly enough O'Malleys to go around, and we have only one Saraceno, though, and he's here with the matchup.
Well, you can see the height and weight evenness with the two fighters really essentially equal. The big difference, Luis Lizarraga has 56 professional fights on record, maybe even more. Martin O'Malley, only 16. Let's see if that's going to make a difference.
Of course, maybe the biggest upset ever in the ballroom occurred here at Michael's 8th Avenue, November 16th of the year 2000, as the up-and-coming contender Jermaine Fields was knocked out by Luis Lizarraga in the 4th round in just spectacular fashion. Lizarraga went on to lose his next fight. And here he is tonight against Martin O'Malley, who is unbeaten at 16-0.
I'd have to say that was our biggest upset. I think Lizarraga had lost his last 12 fights prior to that, going against a fighter who was being groomed at some point to fight for a title. Just incredible evening last fall.
Lizarraga.
Jermaine Fields hasn't forgotten it.
Certainly hasn't. Lizarraga in the blue trunks with a red trim. Martin O'Malley in the white trunks. Of course, Baltimore just minutes away from Glen Burnie, Maryland. The mayor of Baltimore, Martin O'Malley, has his namesake in the ring right now. And the mayor made the trip out to see him fight. Got to give him due for that.
Well, the Wagners are of Irish descent. I wonder if they got something going here. We'll see Barry McGuigan here next, maybe as guest referee.
Low blow by Lizarraga as he was hammering away with the body shots. Nice left hand by O'Malley. Just calculated punch. The veteran Lizarraga is nothing less than a survivor. Good left hand by O'Malley.
Yeah, he's hit him twice with that left hook. Jarred him both times.
Ballroom Boxing is always brought to you by Budweiser, by Geico Direct, and by Toyota. Big overhand right by Martin O'Malley, pushing Lizarraga up against the ropes.
O'Malley immediately attacking Lizarraga, unlike the way Jermaine Fields fought him.
This fight is scheduled for 8 rounds. Good left hand by O'Malley, followed with a body shot.
And you see Lizarraga is willing to stand there and trade for the most part, although on his bicycle there in reverse.
Lizarraga is a little wobbled here in round 1.
It looks a little unsteady.
Left hand of O'Malley is a power shot.
And sometimes if you're not warmed up properly, and the guy jumps on you like that, you never recover. Good uppercut by Lizarraga on the inside. This has been O'Malley's round thus far.
Lizarraga does not like getting hit to the body, you can tell. Good right hand by O'Malley.
O'Malley seems to sense that, Larry. He's really attacked the body here early on.
Tell O'Malley, a very well-schooled fighter. Keeps his hands in tight, body bent.
He's a real technician. Very compact fighter.
The thump you hear is the signal for the end of round 1. Martin O'Malley has an unbeaten record. He is 16-0. We'll be back with round 2 in a moment. Baltimore Mayor Martin O'Malley in attendance, taking on the excitement and action in the ballroom as Martin O'Malley in the ring, taking on Lizarraga. How often do you think that's happened, John, where you have the mayor of a major city in attendance to the event and the key performer is the namesake?
I'd say never.
Maybe never, huh?
Just a wild guess.
Maybe when Al Smith was governor of New York, that happened along the way.
You're right, Lizarraga's legs don't look all there tonight, Larry. Watching him in the corner, sitting on the stool, looking like he's trying to limber up, get some feeling back into them.
Body shot by O'Malley. Good game plan for O'Malley. We're going to bring in John Scheinman quickly for his first round scorecard. John, who did you like in round 1?
O'Malley definitely had the advantage, 10-9 on my card. Lizarraga tried to establish the body attack early on, and O'Malley completely took it away with his own body attack, and I think that was the difference in the first round.
Martin O'Malley does not like Lizarraga going below the belt, and why should he? Kenny Chevalier, third man in the ring. Big overhand right there by Martin O'Malley.
Lizarraga is in deep tonight in his comeback fight at the Ballroom.
Good headlock there by O'Malley. He walked Lizarraga across the ring. O'Malley, I think, is hurt. What happened to O'Malley there? Did he get hit by the head?
Well, Lizarraga's fighting very dirty, using his head, hitting low.
I think he used his head there, and I think O'Malley got hurt. You see Lizarraga taking advantage now.
O'Malley was shook up there a little bit.
He's hurt. He's up against the ropes. He's in some bad shape right now. See what O'Malley's got down deep inside.
Well, he is a tough kid. You see him come back and fire that left hook.
See some swelling now under the right eye of Martin O'Malley and the left eye as well. I think Lizarraga did use his head in there.
Lizarraga is going to use all the experience he brings in that ring with 56 fights, and that's a lot of tactics, borderline legal and otherwise.
Good shot by O'Malley, counter left hand by Lizarraga.
What I like about O'Malley is he doesn't take a step back.
He throws with those bad intentions you like to see as well. How much of Lizarraga hasn't seen in the ring, turned pro back in 1987. He's fought some pretty good names along the way. Cesar Soto.
O'Malley trying to go to the body against Lizarraga. Pins him up against the corner, but really wasn't able to do much damage there.
Lizarraga fought Angel Manfredi, Ed Hobson, a couple former world champions, Cesar Bazan. In the ring tonight, he's going up against unbeaten Martin O'Malley. We'll be back with more from the Ballroom. Looking back the previous round, it might have been a punch that hurt O'Malley. There he's holding on.
There's a left hand and a right hand.
O'Malley's punching though. I don't know. I'm not convinced that was a punch. Overhand right by Martin O'Malley.
The body shot by O'Malley, falls up with the right hand.
Lizarraga complaining it was a low blow. Kenny Chevalier's not going to buy it.
Get ready for Lizarraga to retaliate.
Big right hand by Martin O'Malley. Goes south again.
O'Malley hit him definitely low that time, Larry, right in front of us.
I mean, it's breaking down right in front of us. Lizarraga and O'Malley. Lizarraga is wobbled. O'Malley firing away with left hooks and right hands. Good body work by Lizarraga, though some of it is certainly below the belt.
Looks like a cut on along the right brow of O'Malley. Small cut has opened up.
Both men are hurt. Lizarraga getting the better of that exchange. The tide has turned, but the left hand by O'Malley turns the tide again. And he goes to the hip with a body shot.
Smart move by O'Malley. Going down low to try to slow up Lizarraga, and he's done that.
And a lot of punishment being laid out here in this round.
I dare anybody to find a better club show boxing series than Ballroom boxing. Action, fast and furious. And we're seeing another great one here tonight, Larry.
Some serious swelling around the eyes of Lizarraga. O'Malley,
what is O'Malley doing?
Looking for the takedown. Looking for the takedown. Now Kenny Chevalier warning Lizarraga.
O'Malley appeared to lose some strength in his leg, and then he immediately grabbed Lizarraga's leg. I think he was going to fall down.
Good move then by O'Malley.
Yeah.
Got to give him credit for that. A lot of energy being expelled here in this round. Big straight right hand, and O'Malley's hurt again.
Yeah, something's wrong with his legs. He does not have his legs there. You see him hopping around?
That's right. Good call, John. Still powering.
Oh, that's a dirty shot by O'Malley, punching from behind.
Blood from the nose of O'Malley now.
Kenny Chevalier is a top-notch referee, but at some point he's going to have to take points away if this keeps going on. A lot of dirty tactics on both fighters' parts.
8 rounds this fight is scheduled for, and you wonder if they have the fuel to go the 8. Lizarraga eats the low blow again from O'Malley.
This is a sensational fight, and that's not hype. Both these guys are really putting out here, Larry. They're both hurt at times. They've both been wobbled.
Well, it's going to be a battle of wills. Both men have eaten a lot of punishment.
They should save this one for our archives.
Good body shot by O'Malley, but Lizarraga kind of smothers it. Neither man has very good legs underneath them right now.
Man, are they going to be able to continue this pace? We're only in the 3rd round.
That's the question. It's scheduled for 8. What a round here in the Ballroom, but you know what? We're used to it here with Ballroom boxing. We'll be back. Welcome back to Ballroom boxing. The action hot and heavy there in round 3 as O'Malley and Lizarraga went toe-to-toe. And the big question is, who is trained better for this fight, Lizarraga or O'Malley? I mean, elbows flying, headbutts, low blows, power shots, lefts and rights, and Jon Scheinman as well. What do you think?
29-28 after 3 for Lizarraga. I gave him that round. That was some sensational infighting along the ropes where you guys are sitting. But I thought Lizarraga did the better work. A lot of hard body shots, and I think he began to take O'Malley's legs away from him. And this guy's some kind of giant killer. I mean, after the Jermaine Field fight, and now against this guy 16-0.
Jon Scheinman choked up over the performance of Luis Lizarraga.
And who could blame him? That was a fabulous 3rd round.
Big right hand by O'Malley has Lizarraga in trouble.
O'Malley wants to finish him right here, Larry.
Wow, Lizarraga's got some heart there. Look at him hang in.
Wow, left hooks by O'Malley.
I mean, he is throwing it all out there right now. Another left hand by O'Malley. Chevalier almost gets hit. Could O'Malley be punching himself out, though?
I don't know, but he had him hurt, so he's got to try to make a stand here. Borderline shots by Lizarraga along the belt line. The blood, vicious cut open up over O'Malley's right eye, Larry.
O'Malley bleeding, but he's hammering Lizarraga up against the ropes. Kenny Chevalier on top of the action. Chevalier steps in just to break these fighters up. The blood over the right eye of O'Malley continuing to flow. You can't keep that up for 3 minutes, or can you? Big overhand right by O'Malley, and you can see the hideous mask of blood.
And that's not in a good spot. That's high above the right eye of O'Malley, and that blood looks like it's trickling down along into the eye. The doctors will take a close look at that.
John, he put out a lot of energy to try to finish Lizarraga off, and Lizarraga's still standing.
O'Malley's face a mask of blood, but he continues to press forward.
O'Malley continues to be the aggressor.
Oh,
big
what a
left hand.
What a left hook. He caught Lizarraga right on the point of the chin.
Martin O'Malley 16-0. Trying to keep that unbeaten record intact.
Let him out, easy.
Trying to figure out how Lizarraga has lost 23 fights.
How can you hurt the guy? I mean, O'Malley hit him with absolutely everything he had.
Oh, either Lizarraga has a terrific chin, or O'Malley doesn't have as much power as we think. He's certainly a sharp puncher.
O'Malley 14 knockouts out of the 16 wins, the unbeaten record of the man from Dublin, Ireland, making his home in the state of Washington right now, Martin O'Malley.
Lizarraga was stopped last fall by Cesar Bazan in 4 rounds.
Well, Cesar Bazan, world champion material there. Big round for Martin O'Malley, though he is bleeding profusely. He takes the round with authority. We'll be back to the ballroom in a moment. Midway point in this fight, 4 rounds in the books. Martin O'Malley busted open, but he's doing a number on Luis Lizarraga, just hammering him in the 4th round.
The key thing here, Larry, is what kind of a job did O'Malley's corner do on stopping that blood flow as we start the 5th round? That was an angry cut above the right eye. That blood is flowing directly into the eye or near it.
Nice overhand right by O'Malley, followed by a left. You can see the trunks of Martin O'Malley. They were once red, now they're polka dot. They're white, I should say, and now they're polka dot.
Red, white, and green.
Trying to time Lizarraga coming in. Things slowing down here a bit in round 5, and how could they continue at that pace?
You know, Lizarraga had remarked before the fight that he said, hey, I'm being brought in here again to fight a hometown guy. I know I'm going to be the underdog and it's going to be tougher. They had to tell him, O'Malley's not from Maryland, Washington, or Virginia. He lives in New York. Because when he fought Jermaine Fields, of course, he knew he was supposed to be fed to the lion that night. Instead, he bit Jermaine Fields.
Good body work by O'Malley. O'Malley's a man of the world. He's from Ireland, living in Washington, the state of Washington. He's hammering Lizarraga right now. What is keeping Lizarraga up at this point? O'Malley using his forearm to set it up.
Great body punching by O'Malley.
Almost another clash of heads. O'Malley also living in New York. This guy's got more homes than you do, Jon Saraceno.
What an uppercut by O'Malley. Just lifted Lizarraga's chin. Larry, Lizarraga's really slowing down here in the 5th round. You see a noticeable difference. Yes.
He's in trouble here.
And O'Malley, because he's in such terrific shape, is turning it up ever so slightly.
O'Malley holding that rope.
And that cut is opening up a little bit. Not a lot of blood flowing out of it. They've done a pretty good job stemming the blood flow.
Lizarraga really doing nothing offensive here in this round.
And he's a little shop worn right here, Larry.
O'Malley's got some blood from the nose as well. And the legs of O'Malley begin to wobble again. Right hand by O'Malley, not much behind it. This fight is scheduled for 8 rounds. O'Malley went 8 rounds against Awel Abdullahi in the state of New York back in January of this year. The only other time he had been 8 rounds. If he goes 8 tonight, 6 rounds, the other long distance for O'Malley back in October of '98. He won a 6-round decision over Jose Hernandez. Here we finish 5. A jab by Lizarraga.
Well, he's going to try and steal the round here. It's going to be tough, though.
Great fight in the ballroom. We hope you're enjoying ballroom boxing tonight. Welcome back to the ballroom, where the folks always enjoy the entertainment. Here at Ballroom Boxing, Michael's 8th Avenue. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno. Action from the start of the previous round, round 5. Martin O'Malley doing a great job starting quick in that round. Jon Scheinman is with us as well. And John, what's your scorecard say?
48-47 for Martin O'Malley through 5 rounds. I felt like the attack to the body by O'Malley toward the middle of rounds there just seemed to start to wear Lizarraga down. He seemed to get a little gun shy and weary at the same time. I think conditioning's really going to tell to decide the final 3 rounds here.
This is a tough fight tonight. Lizarraga, a real first-rate fighter in a professional sense. Goes all over the world, fights whoever they got for him. Martin O'Malley, a young guy. This might be his first real test against someone other than a journeyman, though Lizarraga you could consider a journeyman, but he's been in against some former world champions.
We know what he did to Jermaine Fields. I've got O'Malley ahead by 1 point also.
So a tight round here, plenty of time left. This is the 6th round. This fight is scheduled for 8 tonight.
O'Malley has not really taken a step back this evening, Larry. He really hasn't, despite the cut, despite being wobbled, hurt. Continues to press the action. Good lead right hand by O'Malley. Snaps Lizarraga's head back.
O'Malley continues to move forward. O'Malley's tremendously schooled and disciplined. Keeps his hands high even when he's tired. Right now, Lizarraga looks a little shop-worn, like you said earlier, John, but he's right in the fight.
This fight could still be his, but he's got to close that distance. The only problem is when he gets into the inside, he gets eaten up by the body tack of O'Malley. I don't think he's going to win from where he is out there. There's a good body shot by Lizarraga, left.
Right on the belt line, and O'Malley complained to the ref, Kenny Chevalier.
That was a clean shot.
Another good body shot. Now Kenny Chevalier did not like the how low that blow was from O'Malley.
And that was, I'd say, a little bit south of the border. Right hand by Lizarraga.
It's a punch. That's a big knockdown there.
Yeah, I don't know what he's saying. He was off balance, but he fell. He got hit and he fell down. It's a knockdown.
O'Malley's saying he slipped. He's disappointed.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't have to be a 10-8 round, though.
I thought he hit him with a clean shot and he went down.
I think he did. He might have been off balance.
Right.
But he did knock him down. I don't think it hurt him, but it did put him down.
Another right hand by Lizarraga, not nearly as effective. That could have been a big punch in his fight, Larry.
Could be, but you don't have to give the 10-8 round. Let's bring in Jon Scheinman. John, does that have to be a 10-8 round if Lizarraga goes ahead and does not knock O'Malley down again?
Absolutely not. It's the judge's discretion on how they see the rest of the fight and the knockdown. But from my viewpoint, it was a clean knockdown. And at this point, with 5 seconds to go in the round, I'm giving it 10-8 for Lizarraga.
All right, Lizarraga making a comeback here. This is a nail-biter in the ballroom. What else is new? We'll be back.
Let's go.
We're back in the ballroom. Let's take a look and see if this was a knockdown. It was an overhand right that caught him right on the side of the head. He went down. No question about it. That was a knockdown.
No doubt about it. I've got Lizarraga ahead by a point now.
And as we heard from Jon Scheinman, he does as well, giving Lizarraga the 10-8 round with 6 minutes to go. This fight is scheduled for 8 rounds. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno.
That is a huge punch. That one shot.
I do have to stress that yours and Scheinman's scorecards are extremely unofficial. Right, Jon Scheinman?
But they're accurate.
Tell him, Johnny.
Now you see Lizarraga fighting with more confidence here. Big shot by O'Malley. Wobbles Lizarraga. The Irishman has some fight left in him, doesn't he?
Wow.
Big comeback punch there. That could have just turned it right around right there.
And you know what? Lizarraga would have been down if the ropes hadn't held him up.
That's right. I'll tell you what, I love Martin O'Malley's heart. If nothing else, this kid has really shown a lot of heart in this fight. He's got great stamina as well. I thought he might have punched himself out 2 rounds ago, but he's still right there.
Tremendous heart by both fighters here tonight. Lizarraga could become a mainstay here at the Ballroom Series.
Gotta love a guy that's tough like that.
We'd definitely like to see O'Malley back here too. Maybe if this fight ends in a draw, we'll have a rematch.
Never know. I will not predict the draw yet.
Well, promoter Scott Wagner's got a lot of rematches to make in the next year.
O'Malley continuing to pursue Lizarraga. If either man goes down here, that would be huge as well. Even with the flash knockdown. O'Malley diving in.
They've done a good job on that cut above O'Malley's right eye. That sucker stopped.
Jab by Lizarraga, and he pulls O'Malley in. Veteran move by Lizarraga. Pulled him by the head right in, John.
Yeah.
What does that tell you about the strength lift in O'Malley?
Well, I just, you know, at this point in the fight, of course, he's going to be fatigued. And when you don't know a guy's going to pull you forward, it's pretty easy to pull a guy. O'Malley was leaning forward. And Lizarraga got warned. Not that it's going to matter. He's gotten away with several of those dirty tactics tonight. This has been a rough fight. Well, we've seen the boxing skill of O'Malley, the toughness of Lizarraga.
Jab by O'Malley for the first time tonight. Really has not used the jab. He's been loading up all night, and he has scored on more than one occasion.
This has probably been the tamest round so far, Larry.
3 minutes to go in this fight. It's still up for grabs. We'll have more in a moment. Welcome back to the Ballroom. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno taking a look from action from the 7th round. The big right hand there from Martin O'Malley causing Lizarraga to stumble across the ring.
And out of the picture.
This is a very close fight. John Scheinman, with 3 minutes to go, who's ahead on your scorecard?
Luis Lizarraga's ahead 67-66 on my scorecard. I didn't think enough happened from either guy in that round to give it either way. I scored it a rare 10-10 even round. We head into the final round, and I think O'Malley really needs to turn it on to pull this out.
Oh, my goodness. John Scheinman sitting on the fence in round 7. What do you think, Jon Saraceno?
I gave that last round to O'Malley 10-9. I've got it 66 even going into the last round.
I have O'Malley up by a point with 3 minutes to go.
We've all got it different.
How about that? So needless to say, this 8th and final round, these final 3 minutes are the most important out of this fight.
Both fighters fatigued here. You can see the pace of the last 4 minutes. 5 minutes in the fight or so has really dwindled from the furious action we had the first 6.5 rounds.
Lizarraga and O'Malley have really fought gallantly. Right now the question is, who has more left?
Boy, the cuts around O'Malley's face.
It's been chopped up by Lizarraga in this fight.
You see Lizarraga's left hand's done a lot of damage. And O'Malley's left hook been a key fight punch. And there's the right hand by O'Malley, snapping Lizarraga's head.
Every punch is big right now. This is a very close fight as the final round wears on.
Really a shame that either fighter would lose this fight if it comes down to that. O'Malley looks like he's taking charge here in the 8th and final round. He's landed 3 or 4 solid shots here to open the round. Lizarraga goes down to the downstairs.
Nice left hand by O'Malley, kind of wobbles Lizarraga.
O'Malley's got a little bit left in the gas tank compared to Lizarraga. Lizarraga's needle is shaking on E.
Jab by Lizarraga. 8th and final round here in the Ballroom at Michael's 8th Avenue. Little short left hand by O'Malley scores. Pivotal round for both fighters.
Lizarraga's going to have to rally here. At least the way we kind of see the fight.
Nice left hand by O'Malley.
See, that punch by Lizarraga, the right hand, barely grazed O'Malley. Looked like it was a solid shot, but really it fell kind of short.
Lizarraga not doing a whole lot offensively.
Well, it's giving us a chance to catch our breaths here at ringside.
Neither man really deserves to lose. Which man deserves to win?
See, Lizarraga started the round much too late there.
The decision is in the hands of the judges here at ringside as Martin O'Malley and Luis Lizarraga go the distance in the ballroom. The decision is next. Boy, what a fight, Luis Lizarraga and Martin O'Malley. I'm Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno. I see O'Malley winning by 2 points. Saraceno, what do you think?
I had O'Malley winning the last round and winning the fight by a point, but it's a very close decision. Should be.
Just one knockdown in the fight. It was scored by Lizarraga early in the fight, midway through the fight, I should say. And that's a tight one. Who won? Let's find out from Pat O'Malley.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. We go to the scorecards for the decision. Judge Risher scores it 76-75. Judge Campaneschi scores it 79-74. And Judge Waleed scores it 78-75. The winner by unanimous decision, Martin O'Malley.
So Martin O'Malley wins it by unanimous decision. And the one knockdown in the fight was not a factor, as O'Malley on one of the cards wins by a substantial margin. Good decision, right?
Yeah, I had it 76-75. A couple of the judges had a little bit wider. I think it was a little closer than that, but a good competitive fight at the Ballroom Boxing Series.
So O'Malley stays unbeaten, and he's standing by with Jon Scheinman.
Martin, you came all the way across the country to fight Luis Lizarraga in the Ballroom. Did you get a little more than you bargained for with this guy?
Well, I'll tell you, he can take a hell of a shot. He's tough. I knew he was tough already. I saw the tape. I knew he knocked out Jermaine Fields. He was 21-0 at the time. But he has a lot of tricks up his sleeve. A lot of times he was pulling me by the back of the head. We were hitting heads on the inside. I'd have to watch the tape to know exactly what was happening. But I got hit with some shots that were, the referee said borderline, but they didn't feel like it. But all that aside, I got 8 rounds, second fight in a row, and I got a win against a tough, durable, experienced guy. So it will do me a lot of good down the road,
Middle rounds of this fight, both of you guys seem to concentrate on going to the body. And I felt that it took a little bit out of both of you, and it seemed like it was a bit of a stalemate going into those last few rounds. The pace slowed noticeably.
Every time I tried to mix it up with him, we were hitting heads. So I just figured I'm just going to keep on trying to stick the jab from the outside and keep on doing what I was doing. Because I knew he wasn't busy enough. He tries to he does just enough to get by, but I didn't think he was busy enough. So, I thought I was in control of the fight pretty much all the way through.
17-0 now with your career. Where do you go after a fight like this? I mean, this is a veteran, tough journeyman contender. Do you step up now against maybe fringe contenders, or do you still need to get some more 8 and 10 rounders under your belt?
Both. I definitely need to get more rounds, which I've done. I got 16 rounds in my last 2 fights. I've had 5-6 fights where I didn't get that many rounds, so this is going to do me a lot of good. Unfortunately, I got to take a little bit of a break because of the cuts, but I'm going to stay in the gym. I'm in good shape. I just need to keep on fighting guys like this,
Martin O'Malley keeps his undefeated record intact, 17-0 now. We hope to see him back in the Ballroom. Let's go back to ringside.
Joining us here at Ballroom Boxing is the mayor of the city of Baltimore, Martin O'Malley. And Mr. Mayor, you have an exciting venue so close to the city of Baltimore. How much you enjoying these fights here tonight?
This is fantastic. I want to bring boxing back in the city of Baltimore. A lot of our kids in the city, would really benefit from the sort of discipline the boxing teaches here, the sort of toughness it teaches here. And this is a fantastic place, so clear, so near to the city, and so many different people coming out here on tonight. It's great venue.
You take a look around this arena. This Ballroom and you have your finger on the pulse of Baltimore, of the state of Maryland. You look around here, you got so many people enjoying themselves. You know, athletics in a big city are very important. The programs in the city of Baltimore are something you're very proud of, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. You know, this has been a great year for the city of Baltimore. We had the Ravens go all the way. We've got great facilities. We're going after the Olympics, and events like this and bringing boxing back to the area and making it a prominent thing again is fantastic. It brings a lot of people together and gives us all a reason to cheer.
You know, I got to ask you, you had a young kid in there named Martin O'Malley.
Yeah.
How could you not cheer for a guy that has your name?
You know what? I called him today on the phone. I tracked him down because I heard he was fighting tonight, and I moved my schedule around because I wanted to be here. I'd read about him in the Irish Echo and other Irish publications, so I was hell-bent to get here. And I called him up, and I said, hey, I've read a lot about you. He said, yeah, I've read a lot about you. I guess we come up on each other's web searches. So it was a real blast. He's a heck of a nice guy, and he's quick and he's tough, and he has a brutal left jab.
Yeah, I mean, you get it done, you know, in the area of politics, and the other Martin O'Malley gets it done in the ring, right?
That's right. I wish I could say I win every one as convincingly as he did.
There you go.
I often have a lot of blood at the end of the thing.
Oh, that's tough. And Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for being here tonight and joining us here ringside.
Larry, it's great. Thank you.
Mayor of Baltimore, Mr. Martin O'Malley. We'll be back with more Ballroom Boxing right after this. Welcome back to Ballroom Boxing. An undefeated fighter is in the ballroom tonight. Pat O'Malley gives us the intros.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. The Maryland State Athletic Commission Chairman Carl M. Milligan Jr., Executive Director Patrick Pinella, and also Deputy Secretary of Maryland Department of Labor and Licensing and Regulation, Richard Feller, along with Commissioner at ringside, Wild Bill McCaffrey, and Ballroom Boxing promoters Scott Wagner and matchmaker Josh Hall present the main event. 10 rounds in the junior welterweight division. The referee in charge is Bill Holmes. Judging the bout, Kenny Chevalier, Don Risher, and Malik Waleed. Introducing the boxers. First to my right, out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks with white, weighing 142 pounds. He is from Austin, Texas, with a record of 11-1, 8 via the KO. Please welcome Manuel Rodriguez. Boxing out of the red corner with a silver and gray trunks, weighing 142 pounds. He is from Landover's Round 1 Gym with a record of 16-0, 11 via the KO. Please welcome Michael Warwick.
Warwick and Rodriguez. Let's take a look at the matchup, John.
Larry, the numbers are about as dead even as you can get them. Michael Warwick putting his undefeated record on the line against once beaten Manuel Rodriguez.
Unbeaten record. He risks a lot tonight here in the ballroom. Michael Warwick, 16-0, 11 knockouts. He is 28 years old from Landover, Maryland. And this fight is underway. It's scheduled for 10 rounds. These fighters are welterweights tonight. We've seen Rodriguez against Del Matchett in his last fight. He lost the decision to Del Matchett, who ended up losing his next fight to Luis Lizarraga. So Rodriguez took a little bit of a break to regroup, and here he is against the unbeaten Michael Warwick.
We expect this to be a very even matchup, at least going in on paper.
They don't fight him on paper, John, but you're right. Warwick similar to Matchett. And as you see, a tentative start to this 10-rounder.
We don't really believe in the feeling out process here at Glen Burnie, do we?
Tell you what, you never know. Do not blink. Do not go to the refrigerator just yet. Check us out on the web, www.ballroomboxing.com. It is a reconstructed website, much as Jon Saraceno has been reconstructed over the last couple of years. The website new and improved.
See how slightly built Warwick is through the midsection and chest area. See if Rodriguez tries to take advantage by going to the body. Right now, it's a boxing contest from the outside, basically in the center of the ring.
John, I misspoke. Rodriguez defeated Del Matchett in his last fight. And of course, Rodriguez back to see if he can continue here against another unbeaten fighter.
Remember, that was a difficult fight. He stopped him in the 10th round. That was a vicious fight. And Del Matchett really did not look good at the end of that fight.
He went to the hospital after that fight. That was a huge upset here in the ballroom, and Rodriguez, like the home cooking here, likes to call the ballroom his own, and he's going to try to upset Michael Warwick tonight. Look at the styles of these two fights, John. You see a very similar pattern here with the way both men are fighting. Both counter-type punchers. Neither man wanting to take the aggressive stance.
Well, they're both trying to figure each other out. Rodriguez trying to use the jab to move inside. Work very quick. Hand and foot speed. Not an easy target for Manuel Rodriguez. You see him missing there with the left hook.
Round one winding down here in the ballroom. We'll be back with more Ballroom Boxing brought to you by Toyota. Okay. Welcome back to Ballroom Boxing. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno. Ballroom Boxing brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. And right now in the ring, Michael Warwick in the silver trunks with the white trim going up against Manuel Rodriguez in the black trunks. John Scheinman, of course, is always with us as well. John, a rather uneventful first round. Who'd you give it to?
Well, yeah, you're right. But I gave it to Rodriguez. I just felt that he came forward and, you know, he pressed the action a little more, but it could have gone either way. But one thing I noticed in that round was Warwick showing a tremendous amount of respect for Rodriguez. He'd obviously seen the Matchett fight, or he would have been more active. I think this is the most important fight of Michael Warwick's career going in. And earlier, I was talking to his management, and they're thinking about going after Mickey Ward if they win this one. So this is a big stepping stone for him, and he's got to get past Rodriguez to get there.
Well, certainly he's got to get past Rodriguez to get to Mickey Ward. That's a big step up.
It's a huge step up. Can't talk about that until we get done with this.
Warwick moving a lot, but not punching much. This is not the crowd-pleasing fight the fans here in the ballroom are used to, but it could develop.
I tell you what's going to develop, a lot of booing, because the ballroom fans are pretty savvy. They're not going to stand for the kind of bicycle maneuvering by Warwick unless he sits down and starts to fight here at some point. Still early in the fight, second round.
Fight is scheduled for 10 here at Michael's 8th Avenue, the original ballroom. Don't accept an imitation. They even polished the chandeliers here tonight. Of course, they do that every night, but
you check for dust, I know. You're that kind of guy.
I mean, I gave this place the white glove test tonight. And the Wagners have it ship-shape as usual.
It is a nice venue. I always feel safe here, too. You know, some places you go to club fights.
Well, you're the man. You got your cronies here. You got all the folks around here that are your pals. You're very well protected here.
A lot of Tonys hanging out here, huh?
Yeah, overhand right by Rodriguez. Of course, I have my crew here as well, John. Don't forget. Have to be honest with the viewers around the country. I grew up probably about a half hour from this very location. So I feel very comfortable here, Jon Saraceno.
There's a lot of Giannopolises here, huh?
That's exactly right. Michael Warwick now finally standing still and rattling a right hand off the skull of Rodriguez, who just calmly moves to the center of the ring.
I mean, Warwick is a moving target, and Manuel Rodriguez right now is having his hands full, trying to get him to sit down and trade a little bit.
As we approach the end of round two, not what you call an action fight. It's scheduled for 10 rounds. Rodriguez and Warwick, more to come. Welcome back to Ballroom Boxing, seen coast to coast. Anywhere you can get it, you gotta love Ballroom Boxing. Home Team Sports, Sunshine Network, Nesson, CN8, Comcast, DirecTV, Prime Star, EchoStar, the Dish Network. Over 27 million homes can now enjoy Ballroom Boxing, and they can enjoy the commentary of Jon Scheinman with the scorecard through 2.
Hello, America. I got a 2019 Manuel Rodriguez. That round was definitely even. So little happened, you know, just as little as the first round. But one thing I see here is Rodriguez is applying steady pressure to Warwick. And if Warwick is not in tip-top condition, he's going to eventually have to set down and fight this guy. And that's going to make for a good fight. So I think midway through this fight, we're going to see action start to really take place.
All right, John. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno ringside. Jon Scheinman's with us. Here in the ballroom, Michael's 8th Avenue, Glen Burnie, Maryland, Ballroom Boxing. Michael Warwick.
I wonder if he's in relation to Peter Warwick.
That is tough to say, Warwick.
Yeah.
But you can do it, Saraceno.
I think I have been.
You're a trained announcer.
Let him go. Punch out. Let him go.
Manuel Rodriguez in the black trunks.
It's the other 2 guys who haven't been saying it.
I could say Rodriguez as good as anybody. Warwick, though, doing very little to make us remember his name in this fight, though he is unbeaten.
You got him low there. Keep him up.
Bill Holmes warning Warwick of the low shot. Now, Jon Scheinman makes a point. I want to address it with you, Jon Saraceno. Warwick is going to have to slow down sooner or later in this fight. He cannot move for 10 rounds.
Not necessarily. I don't really agree with that.
I wasn't there yet, but
okay.
Don't agree with that. Do you agree that Rodriguez will make him stop and fight somewhere along the way?
If he can cut the ring off, which so far in the first 2 rounds he's been unable to do.
All right.
And he's got to go to the body a little bit more to try to slow down Warwick.
Warwick continues to move, feint, move from side to side. Rodriguez really can't find him. Rodriguez, a veteran, 11-1. 24 years old, from Austin, Texas.
I think we've seen the game plan from Mr. Warwick tonight, and it is to stick and move and not get caught along the ropes there. See, that's not where he wants to be.
Telling you what, right now I begin to feel a little bit of momentum going towards Rodriguez.
Well, he's catching him a little bit more, but only when Warwick is on the ropes. I'm not sure why he's backing up that way. He wants to counterpunch. Well, you know, Warwick hasn't landed a lot of punches here so far.
Really had a good 3rd round for Manuel Rodriguez from Austin, Texas. More Ballroom Boxing coming your way after this. We're back in the ballroom. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno. 10-rounder in the ring right now. Michael Warwick unbeaten, risking his 16-0 record against the very tough Manuel Rodriguez.
Got some nice rabbit punching there along the ropes. And there's a warning by Bill Holmes.
Michael Warwick, a slick boxer, no doubt about it. He's in the silver trunks with the white trim. But Rodriguez has been walking him down the whole fight. And John, I got to disagree with Jon Saraceno. I think sooner or later Warwick's going to have to stop and fight. Then we're going to see who's the better boxer.
All right, we'll see.
I'm allowed to disagree with you.
You're allowed to be wrong. I never stop you from being wrong.
Oh, my partner laying me out.
Stretched. All right, it's the 4th round though. The rounds are going in the bank right now, more for Rodriguez.
John, you mentioned to me between rounds early in the fight, these styles don't mix very well.
No.
But you know what? After a little bit of time on the stove, the styles begin to mix a little bit.
Well, there Warwick came back, counterpunching to the body and upstairs effectively. He's not done enough of that tonight because he's been moving so much. It's hard to punch when you're moving backwards.
Warwick's a well-schooled boxer. Good body shot. Really not a damaging blow, but a scoring blow.
Well, now Warwick is getting a little braver here, Larry, making your theory become more plausible.
Tell me I have a plausible theory?
Step back.
I said it was plausible. I didn't say it was definite.
Overhand right by Rodriguez, and you see Warwick not moving as much from side to side. Showing good head movement, but the leg movement is slowing down here.
Oh, Warwick, it really is quick. You saw him escape from the corner there, but he was unable to make Rodriguez pay when he turned him.
Nice uppercut. I mean, these are 2 evenly matched fighters with a lot on the line here. Both men are prospects. I'm often asked what kind of fighters fight in the ballroom. got a variety of fighters, but here are two fighters who aspire to something greater. They aspire to a world championship.
Well, speaking of that, Warwick has a lot of shake and bake moves a la Pernell Whitaker in his prime. He got nailed with a right hand there a few seconds ago. Just came back and hit Rodriguez with the right hand.
He hurt Rodriguez with that right hand, and Warwick, you might be surprised by it when he stops and fights. He gets it done.
Well, it's fine to have some shake and bake, but something's got to be in the oven cooking too. Warwick's got to actually land some punches. Got to be a little more aggressive.
Right hand a little short by Warwick as Rodriguez backed away. Another grueling round, another close round coming to a close. Here in the Ballroom, Ballroom Boxing brought to you by Toyota. We'll be back after this. We're back, Ballroom Boxing. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno in the ring right now in the black trunks. Manuel Rodriguez, and then the silver trunks with the white trim. It is Michael Warwick, unbeaten, 16-0. John Scheinman, how do you have this fight scored?
I still have Manuel Rodriguez ahead, 39-38 on my card, but Warwick finally started to show some signs of life there in the fourth round. You know, he's a real safety-first kind of fighter, and he takes his time in figuring out where he stands against the competition. I've seen him overwhelm lesser guys, but when he fights guys more on his level, he's very careful before he begins to unfold his stuff.
Good right hand by Manuel Rodriguez.
In other words, he's a stinker, as somebody once said.
Too quick with the commentary, I believe. Michael Warwick might be doing, his game plan might be to take Rodriguez into the later rounds. Good right hand by Warwick off the ropes. Talk about both these guys being counter punchers. Rodriguez might be the more aggressive. That might in fact work into the plan of Warwick.
What a frustrating style for Rodriguez to have to fight, to stay on your game plan and keep doing what you're trying to do and do it effectively. I'd like to still see him go downstairs to the body a little bit to try to slow Warwick up. But Warwick moves so quickly. He's like a water bug out there. Now you see him, now you don't.
Nice overhand right by Rodriguez, scores.
There's a body shot by Rodriguez. Rodriguez has got to try to rough him up.
Now you hear from the corners of these guys cut off the ring. It's easier said than done against a skilled fighter like Warwick.
Yes, it is. Warwick setting down a little bit more on his punches. Now Rodriguez allowing Warwick to come forward, which may not be a bad strategy. Let him carry the fight and then counter.
Headbutt Rodriguez didn't like it.
Yeah.
Overhand right by Warwick.
I don't think I'd be pursuing Warwick. I'd let him come to me.
Clubbing left hand by Warwick, beginning to pick up a little momentum here in this round. He bends at the waist and bends away from the punches of Rodriguez.
He is quick.
See, none of those punches landing right there as he shifts back and forth and slips the punches.
A difficult fight to score, Larry.
And do you like the guy that's slipping, or do you like the guy that's the aggressor?
It's got to be effective aggressiveness. The punches have to be landing. Like you said, some of those shots weren't landing. You can't give him credit just for pursuing.
Nice combination by Warwick. Maybe enough to win that round. We'll wait and see. More Ballroom Boxing coming your way in a moment. Ballroom Boxing is brought to you by Toyota, by Geico Direct, by Budweiser, the king of beers, and by 0to80.com outlet for e-business. We've reached the midway point in this fight. Action from the fifth round. Good body work by Michael Warwick as round 6 is underway. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno. Halfway point of the fight, Jon Scheinman, how do you have it scored?
All even, 48-48 on the 10-point must system on my unofficial card. I think Warwick has really gotten back into this bout, and not only that, I think he has Manuel Rodriguez really frustrated. Rodriguez just can't hit him, and you know, any punches that Warwick lands is give him points. Warwick is shutting him out now in the last 2 rounds.
Couldn't say it any better, and I got it scored the same way, 48-all.
Well, I might as well make it 3 for 3. I see this as an even fight at the midway point. Michael Warwick unbeaten, 16-0. from Landover, Maryland.
Oh, the body shot there landed. The other two didn't. Rodriguez stumbled backwards a little bit. Warwick fighting his way ever so slightly into this fight. Certainly it is a close fight. And maybe you're right, Larry. Maybe he wants to get him in the later rounds, but you know, Rodriguez is just going to keep coming tough. Oh, Rodriguez ran right into a right hand. Had his head down, never saw it.
Punch out, punch
Warwick
out.
fighting a very crafty game plan. Not really aesthetically pleasing if you're out to see guys bang each other all night, but it's a style that is effective for him.
Rodriguez continues to move forward and pursue.
But he keeps going for Warwick's head.
Let him go, let
The
him
body
go.
doesn't move as much as Warwick's head does.
Break.
He's got to start attacking the body. He keeps following him and trying to wing big shots at his head. It's not working.
Step back.
Referee for this action is Bill Holmes, a very competent official.
I mean, if I'm Rodriguez, I even take some shots down low. Not way down low, but I try to slow this guy up. Hit him on the hips, hit him on the legs.
I mean, I'm surprised that Warwick is still moving. John, you said, well, you didn't think that he would stop, and it would be up to Rodriguez to stop him. And Rodriguez hasn't done it. He's allowing Warwick to control the tempo in this fight. Warwick beating Rodriguez to the punch.
Yes, he is. He's a clever counterpuncher.
Rodriguez is confused, but there's a long way to go in this fight.
And he's confused and frustrated.
Big right hand by Rodriguez. Has Warwick hurt? And down he goes. It was a right hand. A sneaky straight right on the button, and Warwick is in some deep trouble here in the 6th round. This fight is over. And another big upset for Rodriguez as he stops the unbeaten streak of Michael Warwick. How about that?
And Manuel Rodriguez leaning through the ropes right now, being congratulated by a fan.
How about that?
What a comeback. Clearly Rodriguez was in the fight, but he just seemed to be so frustrated by the style of Warwick, and he caught him with that right hand and drilled him through the ropes.
John, it was a very straight right hand, a very short right hand. I saw it, and I saw Warwick was hurt immediately, and he is hurt.
That was a good stop.
That was it right there.
Yeah, and a good stoppage by Bill Holmes. Some people may have thought it was quick. You saw the mouthpiece getting ready to come out of Warwick. Warwick could have really been hurt there. Now we know why Warwick was moving as much as he was.
The upset kid, Manuel Rodriguez, does it again. His record now 12-1. 9 knockouts, and he loves the ballroom, that's for sure. First it was Del Matchett. Now the unbeaten streak of Michael Warwick comes to a close on the crunching right hand of Manuel Rodriguez. Here is how it ended. And if you take a close look at the replay, you'll see it. It's a straight right hand, very tight inside. That was it right there.
Yeah, it froze him. He lurched forward a little bit. You could see he was out on his feet. Rodriguez came in with those cleanup shots, put him right through the ropes, and that was it for Warwick.
Let's get the official word from Pat O'Malley.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. The winner by knockout, 246 in the round 6, Manuel Rodriguez.
So Manuel Rodriguez gets it done again in shocking fashion, John. Why would anybody want to fight this guy?
I don't know. After the Del Matchett fight, after the fight tonight, really a tough opponent. He hangs in there. He's a typical rugged Hispanic fighter who will keep trying to wear you down with pressure and look for his shot to get in, and that's what he did tonight.
Well, as always, the fans go home happy here from the ballroom. That does it for us. I'm Larry Michael and Jon Saraceno. Great night, John.
Really was. It's a sensational night. We look forward to another show real soon.
Excitement, as always, in the ballroom. Next up here in the ballroom, May 10th. Check us out on the web, www.ballroomboxing.com. For John Scheinman and Jon Saraceno, I'm Larry Michael. We'll see you next time for Ballroom Boxing.